Welcome along to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official chart, and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers and Wilkins. My name is Jess Iszatt. Thank you very much for joining us. We are super excited to say that our guest this evening is HONNE to talk all about their brand new album. Let's just say the world ended a week from now. What would you do? If you're new to the Record Club, we're going to be spending the next half an hour talking to HONNE about the brilliant new record, and then we'll be putting some of your questions about the album forward for them to answer. So if there is anything that you'd like to know about the new record, whether it be about a certain song, perhaps the artwork, or even a particular lyric, drop us a question in the comments section below, and I'll be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. On top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today will be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers and Wilkins headphones. They're PX7 over-ear noise-cancelling headphones, and I hear that HONNE love them too. So it's a wicked prize. Don't miss out. Get your questions to us. My record is on the way in the post. If you haven't already picked up your own copy from your local record store, we thoroughly recommend that you get involved and you do that once our chat with HONNE is over. So let's get straight into this week's Record Club and say a big hello to James Hatcher and Andy Clutterback from HONNE. How are we doing, guys?
Woo!
Yes, synchronized hand movements. I love it. Did you practice that?
Yeah. That was a great intro, by the way.
Practicing for days.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you. Well, my first question has to be something that you must have thought about a lot, and I'm guessing maybe you've already been asked this, but say, I don't know, the world ended a week from now, what would you guys do?
Wow. What would we do? I think I would just eat a lot of chocolate. I love chocolate. I can't get enough of it.
Nutella.
So, yeah, Nutella.
Drown in Nutella.
I'm not sponsored by Nutella. I wish I was.
Is this like a jar and a spoon vibes with Nutella, or you toast?
Yeah, probably by that point, if the world was, I'd just go straight in with the hand and just like scoop it out.
Melt it all, put it in a bath, and then let it set with you in it.
Yeah, perfect.
Eat your way out.
And you'd just be set in a bath of Nutella.
I'd be a fossil in Nutella. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dream.
Okay, that is the dream. And you thought about this a lot, and that's
We've decided that that's it.
That's what you'd do.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's what inspired the album.
This interview's taken a weird turn very quickly.
Well, obviously the visuals with pink sweats for What Would You Do, and that's kind of like scoping out what someone might do. I love that. I love the music video. It's very vintage as well. How involved were you in the making of that video?
We've been really involved more than ever actually.
Yeah.
Involved in the concept came from Andy basically. The idea of this kind of kid who maybe a bit of a might get bullied at school and has a bit of a tough time with that, and then kind of sees this girl and wants to woo her because he's only got 1 week left to live and he just wants to live his best life.
Yeah.
But we worked closely with the director who was amazing at bringing this narrative around it and the whole kind of style of it as well.
Yeah, and it was so much fun being there on set. We have very, very small cameos in that video, but just being involved and being there on the day, it just made me feel like, why haven't we not been doing this from the beginning?
Start,
it was so much fun.
Because that was our first time ever being in a music video other than panning past us in one shot. We
I feel like I'm only just realizing that you were in it as well, but I know you were doing a lot of the gardening and stuff.
Yeah. So we're a gardener and a paper boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I will say I was a bit annoyed about how easily she was swept off her feet by the rocker dude, but she redeemed herself with the lighter.
She did, yeah.
It's a short amount of time. I really loved, so I do love delving into the comment section under the videos. Have you had a little look?
Yeah, I love it as well.
I haven't.
It's funny.
What's
Well, there's a lot of people in the comments saying that it's encouraged them to ask their crushes out or like, tell them how they feel. And there is one particular person, I should have written down her name, but she essentially wanted to ask out someone, but it was like long distance. And she literally has given like a diary account and updates in there as well. And there are people like following this story and people sending her good vibes as well.
This is so good. Amazing. I love it.
No, it's so good. It's so good. How do you feel about your music moving people like that and actually creating a physical change?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's something we never ever thought would, like, we'd never thought we'd have an effect on it. We were just like at the start, we were just writing music just for the hell of it almost, I suppose. And yeah, and then it's kind of, when you go out and play, not that we've played any gigs recently, but when you go and play a show and you see all these people singing back your songs and the lyrics that they've learned, it's really special. And to see that it like has an effect on people's lives. And
yeah,
we get, speaking of that girl you mentioned about being in a long distance relationship or kind of trying to establish that, we get a lot of people who have connected together but through our music, just like being in long distance relationships. And it's crazy. It's very
really
strange,
special.
but yeah, nice.
I also noticed that you tweeted a sort of competition, basically people writing or fans writing out their why they miss someone as well. And I think it's you're going to get them a flight at some point, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, or you're going to pick someone.
Just felt like during the pandemic, like so many people just haven't been able to get and see people they love. Like there's friends that we haven't seen for ages and family we haven't seen for ages, and there's people all over the world who are kind of separated. So we thought, because our music seems to connect people in that way so much, and quite a lot of the music on our album is about like how much we love this job, but at the same time it comes with sacrifices, which is being away from loved ones a lot, and seeing as like we've got a song called Coming Home, so it just feels like it's a nice thing that we can try and do for people, and hopefully someone will get a lot of pleasure out of that.
Yeah,
I can't lie, I definitely got very emotional reading something.
Yeah.
I may have shed a tear, or two.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And I also may have written an entry as well. But I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. But yeah, my brother's on the other side of the world, and I haven't seen him since pre-pandemic, which is the longest that we've been apart. And I assume lots of people in the same situation. Didn't you start writing this before the pandemic happened?
Yeah, so What Would You Do and Coming Home, that song were both written in LA in January or February 2020.
Yeah.
So kind of
just before.
Yeah, exactly. We got home from that writing trip, and the month after we were all in lockdown. So it was it was before and kind of crazy. And we released the mixtape during like the first lockdown, but we felt those songs, What Would You Do and Coming Home, were just too different to the mixtapes, so we saved them for this album. But yeah, it's kind of strange because obviously we like What Would You Do is all about the world hypothetically ending, and for many people the world kind of has ended or did end or felt like it kind of was going to end.
Don't want to start any rumors, but it's almost like someone new.
Just saying.
Nothing.
Oh, yeah. When does that competition come to close? Is that soon?
It's in a week or two, I think.
Okay. Well, if anyone's watching, obviously you can get involved in that.
Yeah, there's still time.
And you've mentioned performing and maybe performing abroad and stuff. I know that you've got a huge fan base in so many different areas, including I think it was like Thailand. You've got a huge response from people. Is there a city that's a sort of home away from home for you guys?
I think the first one, like the first time that we ever felt famous, which is a weird start to the sentence, but it was right at the start. We were playing still small venues in England and America and stuff, and just like starting to find our feet in Europe as well. and then we put some tickets on sale in Seoul in South Korea, and they sold out in like less than a minute, and it was like 1,500 capacity, and we're like, what's going on? And then we put another one on sale, and that sold out within another minute, and then we were like, should we put another one on sale? And that sold out again in another minute. And then we went there, and yeah, the fans were just amazing, and like I think particularly one of our songs called Warm in the Cold Night was like really resonating with people over in South Korea. So that was crazy. And because of that, we have like a lot of warmth for that kind of first experience of going out in a crowd, knowing all your words to every song kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, we feel really, we love anywhere that we go and people just sing our words back to us. Like it's the best feeling in the world. And that's the time where you feel most like you can gauge how people are connecting with the songs the most. Like we see it online and all that kind of stuff, but it's really special when you're in person and you get to hear that and feel that energy kind of thing.
Feels more real, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's it like? Is there a difference in audience? I know someone else who is a musician who performed over in Asia and then over here, and he says there's a real difference in the crowd. Did you experience that as well?
Yeah, I think there's I think like in countries like the Philippines, they just love to sing. So quite often we are playing and we get drowned out by all their voices, and we're like, "Where
we don't
are
need
we
to
in
be
this
here."
song? Yeah. So yeah, it is quite nice. Like, what else is different?
But then there's the opposite side, which is like Japan.
True. Yeah.
And they're like a very respectful audience, so they'll like really, really listen and be taking everything in. Like no talking in between songs and stuff, which is hard, like different to get used to, because you're like, before you go on stage, it's like you don't know anyone's out there, which is great. It's just like a different.
Oh wow! Like, no, has anyone turned up? You're like peeking behind the curtain.
Yeah, honestly, it's like that. And then there's the most like awkward silences between every song. Like, oh god, what do we say?
Because we're quite awkward guys, like awkward British, like geeky guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Yeah, you all feeling good tonight? Just nods. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it must feel nice that they're sort of like, I guess, absorbing every word as well.
Yeah, it's like it's just really lovely in a completely different way.
Remember, guys, if you want to get your questions to us, make sure to comment in the comment section below, and I'll be asking some of them very soon. So speaking of the new album, do you have an abbreviation for it, or do you say it every single, like the full sentence every time?
We sometimes just use WWYD question mark.
WWYD, because I did actually write out the letters, and it's like LISTWEAWFN.
We were doing like the tour pre-sale things, and we saw one of the booking people were using like that code, and we were like, no one's going to be able to write that.
Yeah. So has there been a surprising fan favorite since it's dropped?
What's it been?
Yeah, there have been some fan favorites that have been surprising. One is Easy on Me. So we've released some of the songs already, so there's the obvious favorites that we would have expected. Like Back on Top, it's definitely a fan favorite with Griff.
Oh yeah.
The amazing Griff. And obviously because her voice is crazy, it makes that song massive. But yeah, Easy on Me is a fan favorite.
What else?
I think Heart Song.
Nice, that's
one of your
favorite.
favorites. An Andy favorite.
The reason I looked to James, so basically this is like I've not announced this yet, but the week before the album dropped, I had a baby. Me and my wife had a baby.
Oh, congrats!
So thank you. But so I've kind of been trying to dip into the album, but also change nappies and all that sort of stuff at the same time.
So I'm basically
James is like, what is the
I'm basically HONNE's social media manager at the moment. That's my full-time role.
Oh, well, if you're playing the baby music, obviously playing music is meant to be good for babies, isn't it? I don't know, I heard Mozart, but easily HONNE as well
Yeah,
is,
exactly. Yeah, I'll have to
I've
find out.
heard.
His favorite is.
Andy said he's been listening to mostly white noise for the last.
Yeah, to make them sleep.
Wait, white noise helps them sleep.
Yeah, apparently it doesn't seem to be working. So I'll let you know how.
Maybe switch it up.
Different kind of noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned working with Griff, and obviously she's like hot tonight. She's performing tonight as well, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. How was it working with Griff?
So good. Yeah, we love her to bits. She's just super talented, so cool, and just really down to earth, and it's just easy, isn't it? Like we just get in a room and it's nice to work with someone like Griff, and we seem to have a good success rate with her.
Yeah. Every time we get in the room, we seem to write something good. She's just like a very, very talented songwriter, and on top of that, like a very fun person to collaborate with. Like she's very open to ideas, but also puts lots of ideas forward, and that's what kind of makes a good vibe in a room when you're writing a song.
Yeah.
She's very switched on. I've noticed this whenever I've been able to have a chat with her, and creative in like so many different ways as well, like set design, her outfits.
I mean, I don't know how she has time. No. I don't understand.
Exactly. And I saw these gadgets. She got these gadgets that she'd been given. She was like trying it out. She was like, yeah, I'm performing with this on Saturday. I've never used it before. I was like, it's blowing my mind.
I'm scared. I would not want to do that.
You've also got, so I have to thank you for introducing me to Nikki as well, because I didn't know her music before, so that was nice. And then Khalid and Pink Sweats we've mentioned. But we've also got some writing credits on there, some big names. So Arlo Parks and Sam Smith and Emanike. I've got this written completely wrong on mine. How was it working with them as well? And how come? I want to know things like, how did people like Arlo Parks end up writing with you, but then didn't end up as a voice? Was there a decision-making process in that?
Her decision.
It's just one of those things where we're releasing music. We would have loved Arlo to be on the album, but she was releasing her album at the same time, and it just kind of didn't work at this particular time. But so we wrote with her. It was probably like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
We wrote a couple of songs that we loved, and then this one felt most like HONNE, and we wanted to. We really like doing this thing where we have like one person's perspective in a relationship, and then we can, in the same song, use another voice to show the other side of a relationship, like the two sides of the story. So it was the perfect song for doing that. And we just love her writing style, like so unique and poetic. And really, really interesting. Not like anybody else we've ever met, really.
She, I know she loves to use words like amethyst and stuff in her lyrics, and I feel like I could almost feel that coming like within there. And also Sophia Valdez puts her own, I probably said that really wrong as well, puts her own spin on it too. And she must be singing, I guess, Arlo's words there, right?
Yeah.
How was it working with her and like presenting this song, and how did you pick someone for it?
We've been fans of. I mean, as soon as we heard Sophia's voice, we just thought it was incredible. Particularly her vibrato; it's so wide. Like if you listen to like her sustaining a note, it's like like it's crazy.
It's like Leanne Havas kind of.
It's nice. But it's always tricky when you approach someone and say, "Can you sing these words?" Like. Sometimes it's like, no, I'd rather like do my own thing or whatever. So it's tricky to approach that. But fortunately, Sophia was really keen, and she's a sweetheart, and she got on board, and it sounded amazing.
So guys, remember, if you've got any questions, put them in the comment section below. I'm going to be coming to them very shortly. Apparently, I have one more question. I know that in your song, I'm the lucky one. So I listened to this and I was like, oh, I wonder if those are real clips. And apparently they are. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. At the start.
Please.
Yeah, it's a clip from my wedding, which we managed to get in. Me and my wife got in before the pandemic, so we were very lucky.
Yeah. You are the lucky one.
Exactly. Yeah, not much to say. It was just a fantastic. James is the best man.
Yeah.
Aww.
He had a speech of his own. Maybe I should dig that out because I've
the guy who says basically Andy's wife's brother at the start, and you hear him go speech, and he texts us today being like, awesome to see that I've made it onto the album. Like no one had told him. And I was like, I told Andy to tell you so many times.
Yeah,
and he was like, it's great, I love it.
Oh, maybe it was a nice surprise for him.
But he did leave me hanging for a while. He texted just saying, remove it immediately. And they left it for 10 minutes and I was like, nah, I'm fine with it. I love
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nah, it's staying in. It's too late now. I love it. Oh, that's so sweet. Was that always what you were going to do? Were you always going to incorporate some clips, or did you hear that and you were like, actually, this kind of fits?
Yeah, it's nice to use like real life clips, especially when they relate to us and our lives. And we always try to like leave the character in, and obviously we didn't start that song with that clip, but just gradually somewhere along the line it got put in.
Yeah.
And it just brings a song to life a bit, and it just gives a bit of context to the song and puts you in like a
state of mind.
Yeah, exactly. Puts you in that scenario.
I feel like now if anyone's in a social situation with you when it's like recording, it's like just I might make it into a HONNE song. If you like say something iconic.
Nothing more, yeah. Most of this interview is on our next album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll make some fun noises or something at the end. Lily from the Record Club's Facebook page is asking, how do your collabs come about? Do you have any that didn't make the album?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
Do we have any?
There are lots of artists that we've met over the years that we are, speaking to on an ongoing basis. And yeah, I'm sure there are some songs that we've written with some other artists that haven't quite made the cut yet. But that's not to say they won't in the future, or we won't get back in a room with them and write a better song that could make the cut.
But how do they come about? They come about, it really varies. So we wrote Back on Top with Sam Smith, Reuben James and Griff. And Sam Smith came about because Reuben James, who's one of our mates and is an amazing musician and artist in his own right, used to play keyboard for Sam Smith. And so Sam and their team heard the stuff that we'd written with Reuben and just said, can we all get in a room? Think we can make something cool. So that's how that came around. Arlo, I think we just reached out. Lots of stuff on Instagram DMs. The whole like sliding into DMs thing is a real thing. Same with Khalid, Twitter DMs.
And that was like
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, that was
old school.
3 or 4 years.
Go back.
Long time.
Yeah.
And Nikki, we'd messaged her on Instagram and she ignored it for like 2 years. And then eventually we were in LA, as I said earlier, in a studio, and she was just next door. So we just bumped into her.
That was pure luck.
Yeah.
Very rare. Yeah.
Have you been able to physically jump in the studio with these people, or have any of them been remote?
Khalid was completely remote. Although we have met a few times after his gigs backstage, and I think that's it. But who else was remote?
Khalid was remote. Sophia was remote. And I think everything else
was in person.
Who's best value in this studio? Like maybe brings the best snacks or banter, or just obviously good vibes?
Reuben James.
Yeah, Reuben James is Good vibes.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to just hang out with Ruben James for 10 minutes, he's your favourite person in the world.
Oh, I love that. What a great review.
Not like anyone else I've ever met. Incredible.
But he does bring good snacks actually. He's always got like a mango or a papaya
Dragon
or
fruit.
something.
It was healthy as well.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Thought you were going to say Nutella then.
Yeah.
No, he's not up to that standard yet.
Priya Wells on the official charts page says, your sound has slowly been evolving since your debut. Where do you see your sound going next? Have you been experimenting in the studio?
Oh, no. There was a period after we delivered the album where we started like dabbling.
Yeah.
And then it just like it gets to the point where there's too much to do, like making music videos and just like getting everything ready. So we ended up, we're here now. Time moves fast when you're having to do lots of things.
Yeah, but it's always that we like to experiment and we like to try and switch it up, even if it's like fairly small changes. We want to have separate albums so you can, be in a different space per album. And yeah, so we'll
you can go to different. We want our fans to be able to go to different albums for different things. Like if you want that late night thing, you can go to our first album. If you want a bit of comfort, you can go to No Song Without You, or if you want bright sunny day, you can come to this new album. Like there's a bit of something, and it keeps it interesting for us as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. We've got someone called, well, I don't think this is their name, but Trapped in a Wardrobe on Twitch. I heard an intriguing rumor. Oh no, we're not saying that. I think that was actually more aimed at me, to be honest. Dante Hart on HONNE's page says, how did the pandemic help you to grow as musicians? What did you learn about your craft during that time?
I think it just made us realize. So, I mean, me and James, when we first started out as HONNE, we did a lot of our writing separately. And over the years, we've kind of gradually worked in our way into rooms and worked together, and that's worked as well, and that's been great. But it made us realize that we can still be apart and like have, make success of being songwriters and
be productive still.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just good communication. I'm really bad at communicating, but James is very good and keeps us in check. So.
One-sided communication.
What's your favorite method of communication? Are you good at calling people?
I am very good at calling people. I like calling people.
Some people don't pick up the phone. They don't like it.
No, I'm not so good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not very good at just calling or texting. I think I have a phobia of talking to people on the phone. Is that...
I have heard this. Maybe a voice note, or is that worse?
Yeah, no, that's.
I love a voice note.
I do love a voice note.
Yeah. But when you record a voice note, do you ever like go and then you're halfway through and you're like, oh no, I messed up, and then have to start again, or do you just roll with it?
Just roll. No,
you just have to roll with it, like you're talking to someone.
Okay, I need to do that.
Oh no, sorry, I've messed up. I'll start again.
And then send the whole voice memo as well.
I guess if you maybe say something wrong and then you're like, oh, I might as well just send it shorter and again, because sometimes they get a bit long, a bit podcasty. So yeah. Oh. We've got one more from Michael Matthew Jurias on the Record Clubs page. What is the most sentimental song for you in your new album?
Mine would be Heart Song, which is the last song. It's a lovely one. It's probably a bit different to the rest of the songs on the album, a bit more like ambient, and how would you describe it? Like it almost sounds a bit like Sigur Rossi.
Jose Gonzalez, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite if I can say it myself, a beautiful song, like landscapey and soundscape, and it's nice. I like it a lot.
It's one of the songs that I feel like we've written that I've enjoyed listening to personally over and over, and I still think it sounds good.
Yeah.
So, which is always a good sign.
Oh, that's good. Okay, well, at least there's one of them.
Yeah, there's one song.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. That is all we have time for today. Of course, we've loved having James and Andy from HONNE join us on the Record Club. If you haven't already got yourselves a copy of Let's Just Say the World Ended a Week from Now, what would you do? Then make sure to get it from your local record shop immediately. Order it now, order it online, or go tomorrow, whatever it may be. I'm also excited to announce that the winner of this week's Bowers & Wilkins Wireless Headphone Prize is Priya Wells on the official charts page. Please slide into the Record Club's DMs and we'll get those headphones to you. Thank you everyone for joining us and sending in your questions. Our next guest is going to be announced on the Record Club's social media very soon, so make sure you're following us. Plus, all previous episodes are available to watch back on our YouTube channel. See you soon, and thank you so much, James and Andy.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.